So everyone right now is going to kill Anthony Edwards for the performance he put on in that closeout game for OKC as they advance to the NBA Finals. I understand it. Anthony Edwards is a superstar. This series has not changed my mind about what I think of Anthony Edwards as a player. I think he's a superstar already, and he's only going to get better. I think there's a few things we had to take into consideration when we talk about Anthony Edwards' performance for the past couple of games, especially. Oklahoma City's defense is legendary. They are ridiculously good. Like, we cannot take away from how good Oklahoma City's team defense is. Anthony Edwards, every single time that he drove the basketball, no matter which way he went, he was double teamed. Lou Dort, Alex Caruso are two of the best perimeter defenders in all of basketball right now. We can add in Jalen Williams. We can add in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to a degree. Casey Wallace. We can add all those guys in there. This is a very good defensive team, perimeter and interior. So even when moments when Anthony Edwards got past those guys, now you got to deal with Chet Holmgren or Isaiah Hartenstein waiting at the basket for you. That's a really tough challenge. We have to also understand that whenever Anthony Edwards came up a ball screen, Isaiah Hartenstein or Chet Holmgren, whoever the big was, they were up high. They were showing hard when Anthony Edwards came off that screen, meaning that they were not guarding the roll guy. Most of the time it was Rudy Gobert. They were not worried about Rudy Gobert at all because whenever he did touch the ball, he would bring it down, the guards would come there and swipe it, or they put him on the free throw line because they know that he's going to miss. So they basically did not guard Rudy Gobert at all once he set that screen and rolled. The big stayed high, and the guard, whoever that was, Shai, Dort, Caruso, Jalen Williams, they stayed right on Anthony Edwards' hip. Now, Anthony Edwards could have just shot the ball, shot a deep three, but now you're talking about a deep contested three with two guys contesting. It's probably not going to be a good shot. It's going to be hard, it's a really hard shot to make. Probably doesn't look like a great shot. But to also play devil's advocate with Anthony Edwards, he tried to make the right play again early in this game. Guys were making shots. Julius Randle, once again, early in the game when they needed him, he was a no-show. Mike Conley, the wily old vet, respect to him, couldn't make a shot. Jay McDaniels, he had at least 3, maybe 4 wide-open shots to start the game. Didn't make them. So if you're Anthony Edwards, it's like, okay, what am I going to do here? Like, I'm giving guys open shots, and they're not knocking them down. I'm getting double-teamed. Oklahoma City made it really difficult on him and Julius Randle. So you got to give credit to this Oklahoma City defense because there was just not a lot of space for Anthony Edwards to work. He created some space in transition. He somehow got to the free throw line a few times, but by the time he started doing that, the game was already over because early in the game, like I just said, guys were not making open shots. Now, the next step for Anthony Edwards, Jay Williams pointed it out perfectly on First Take. He said Anthony Edwards, for the next step, he has to get that post-game going, that mid-post-game that Michael Jordan had, that Kobe Bryant had, that all the greats eventually had. Because now you're talking about not only being a scorer in that mid to low post, you can also be a playmaker. A lot of the highlights that we saw in these past few games with Anthony Edwards was him dancing at the top of the key, trying to cross over a guy, trying to beat his man and then take a contested jump shot. It's tough shots, even for the best of them. Anthony Edwards can make those tough shots. We know that, but it's still a really difficult shot. And getting that next step, Dwayne Wade, I'll throw in there as well. Getting that mid to low post game, getting that turnaround jumper, becoming a playmaker in the post, allowing yourself to rest on offense. That's the next step that Anthony Edwards has to take. This Minnesota roster is going to have to change if they're going to make a serious run. I don't think Rudy Gobert is going to be serviceable in the near future when it comes to playoff time. I expected a lot more from Julius Randle. We didn't get that. It was really disappointing. I think Jay McDaniels, he's going to get a lot better. Mike Conley, you don't know how much longer he's going to play. You wonder about that point guard position. I think Minnesota's depth was really tested in this series and improved that there needs to be improvement in that regard. But a bright spot that I saw was Terrence Shannon Jr., who I thought when Minnesota first drafted him, I couldn't believe it, because of how good he was coming out of Illinois. But you see the flashes of how good Terrence Shannon can really be for this team. So I imagine that he's going to have a bigger role in coming next season and beyond. But Minnesota's roster definitely needs some tweaking. Anthony Edwards has to take that next step. But at the end of the day, if your guys aren't making shots, it's really hard to win when you're already getting double teamed and you're trying to depend on your teammates to help you out here, but they didn't show up for you. So we have to remember that. Critique Ant, I get it. When you're a superstar level player like Anthony Edwards, you get all the praise when you're playing well. You got to get the blame when you don't play well either, and your team gets blitzed like they did in the past couple in the closeout game against Oklahoma City. But got to give major congratulations to Oklahoma City. They came out on fire. They came out saying we're not going back to Minnesota. We're going to celebrate with our home fans going to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2012 when they had KD, Russ, and James Harden.